Most parents have been calling me that they are about to buy phone or computer device for their child. Some of them have children that just finished their WAEC. Others have their child in either SS1 or SS2. And they call me Auntie Taye Lolu. Is it proper for me to buy my adolescent his or her own personal phone or computer device? Most of them are scared. They are skeptical because already they know that one of the major things that have been plunging the youth of today into moral decadence is the use of phone and access to the internet. So most of them have been asking me these questions, although I've answered the three of them personally. But I began to think that many parents are as well in this dilemma, that what is the right age to buy my child a personal phone or computer? I am here because of you today, Auntie Taye Lolu. Now listen, there's no age set in stone for you to buy your child his own personal phone or computer, because the level of responsibility of a child varies one to the other. As a parent, I might give my 15 years old a phone and give him rules on the use of that phone, give him guides, and he flaunts it continuously. Whereas I can give my 19-year-old adolescent his own personal computer device and advise him and guide him on the proper and constructive use of it. And he adheres to my instructions. That is why I said there's no age set in stone. Each child is different from the other. I'm a mother of children, and each of my children is different from the other, especially my first and second sons. They are as different from one another as the sun is different from the moon. So you need to know what is particular and peculiar to an individual child. And as a parent, generally, there are some basic questions I want you to ask yourself truthfully before you go buy that phone for your adolescent. Number one, why does he or she need a phone? Why? Most parents are increasingly busy today, and they are most times not around. You might decide to buy a phone for your adolescent so that you can have access to talking to him or her or chatting him on WhatsApp as regard what is going on at home. You might answer this question by this point. Okay, my child has been telling me that a lot of his friends are already owning their own phones. Okay, let me buy his own for him or her own for her. That is a wrong reason to buy your adolescent a phone. That is a very wrong reason. That his friends are already having their own personal phone is not reason enough to give him or her his own personal phone. Another question you might want to ask is this: how responsible is my child? I know many parents will flaunt this question. They will fail at it woefully. Because many people, out of a sense of moral justification, will claim, all my children are responsible. All of my children are very responsible. That is a blatant lie. Although generally on a pedestal, you might classify them responsible. But I want to tell you from the perspective of a parent that the level of responsibility of child A is different from child B. You can give probably your 14-year-old child a phone and give him instructions as to the use of it, and he flaunts it continuously. Probably he comes home and tells you, like my 10-year-old boy would say, that my teacher taught us a topic in history today, and he asked us to make our own findings. Mommy, please, can I use your Google to find out some things? I will give him my phone and sit with him, supervising him till he finds whatever it is he wants to find out. You can give your 14-year-old his own personal phone and give him the rules and regulations attached to the use of that phone, and he flaunts it continuously. Whereas you can give your 19-year-old his own phone, and every advice and guide you give to him, he sticks to it. That is why I said you must answer this question truthfully as a parent. How responsible is your child? If you discover that he's not responsible enough, no matter what his or her age might be, don't you dare give him his own personal phone. He or she will self-destruct. Phone is an instrument of self-destruction for the adolescents of today. The degree of responsibility, like I said, of a child is directly proportional to how beneficial or disruptive owning a phone might be for him or her. There must be basic rules you must give, and there must be consequences attached. Consequences you must enforce. For example, do not use the phone after 6 p.m. and you go to his room, you see him with his phone. You must make sure whatever consequences you have attached to that rule, you enforce it. You might have told him, if you use your phone beyond 6 p.m., you will not be allowed to watch the television for the next 1 week. Make sure you enforce it. Make sure that truly, when you catch him using that phone beyond 6 p.m., he does not have access to the television for 1 week. Enforce every consequence you attach to any rule you give your adolescents. The adolescent of today, they are not like we used to be during our own time. That is why you must be intentional and deliberate in your parenting. Some of the rules you can give your adolescents, if you have compelling reason why truly he or she must own his own phone or computer device. Number one, never take your phone to school or church. Make sure you attach a consequence to the flaunting of that rule. Number two, by 6 p.m., I want to see your phone on that shelf. Because the more he takes his phone to bed, the more he will be tempted to visit websites he's not supposed to visit. Phone can become destructively addictive for an adolescent. They have youthful exuberance. They have it. This youthful exuberance is compelling in them. If you are not intentional with your parenting, with that phone you bought for him or her, he or she will self-destruct. Number three, you must set down the website your child must never visit. If you are giving your teenager a phone, for example, tell him you are never to open yet your own Facebook or Instagram account. Tell him he must never own his own Facebook account yet. Number four, discuss sex education before you give your child a phone. Make sure you discuss sex education with your teenager before you buy him or her his own phone. Because whatever you do not teach your child, he or she will get the answers from social media. And when you are telling your adolescent about sex education, don't use codes. Penis is penis. Vagina is vagina. Don't use codes. Spell it out. Tell them frankly and upfrontly. Another rule you must give your child if your adolescent must have his own phone. You must never pass lock or screen lock your phone. This is not because I want to infringe your privacy, but it is because your phone must be open. You are still young. No adolescent must be too grown to be parented. Your child must never pass lock or screen lock his or her phone or computer device. Let there be time limits. For example, you are only permitted to use your phone during days of the week between 4 o'clock after doing your assignments and 6 p.m. Weekends, probably 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Number seven, if you have adolescents that are already driving, be explicit that they must never use the phone when driving. Adolescents and teenagers are easily distracted. There's youthful exuberance afflicting most of them. So you must spell it out that phone use is not allowed when you are behind the wheels. Lastly, never threaten your adolescent when you are giving him or her a phone. It is one thing to say, I'm giving you this phone. If you use it beyond 6 p.m., you will see what will become of you. You will see what I will do to you. It's another thing to tell him, you are never to visit this website and you are never to use your phone beyond 6 p.m. If you use your phone beyond 6 p.m., you will never be allowed to watch television for the next 1 week. You say it like that. And when he flaunts that rule, you enforce the consequence. Those are two different things. You have passed the same message, but in one, you threatened him. In another one, you appealed psychologically to his conscience. It is more effective when you appeal to the you appeal to the conscience of your child by coming down to his or her psychological level. More often than not, when you do it this way, instruction or the rules you give them, they tend to obey it more. No child is too grown to be parented. Let them know that you are on top of your game as a parent. Too much liberty, when you give your adolescent too much liberty, that kind of liberty has a weak spinal cord that will soon break. They will self-destruct. Those things that you are giving them and you think you are giving them enjoyment will destroy them. May that not become our experience in the name of Jesus Christ. Don't threaten your child, and let them know the dangers of visiting certain websites. Teach them sex education before you give your adolescent his or her own personal phone. May the Lord help us all in the name of Jesus. With these few points of mine, I hope that Auntie Taye Lolu has succeeded in answering your question as a parent, as regards if it is right for you to get your adolescent or teenager his or her own phone or computer device at this time. If you need more clarification, you can call me on 080-3840-8948 or leave a message for me in the comment section of this video. God bless you. Good afternoon. For today, this is Auntie Taye Lolu.